Paulo Costa is going to get absolutely obliterated by Khamzat Chimaev, and Leon Edwards is going to beat Colby Covington, and it's going to make it look easy. These are just two of the hot takes we're going to get into in today's video. And let's just get right into this, because this stuff gets me so mad. It really, really gets me so mad when I see guys talk about, oh, Paulo Costa, he's this KO artist. He's this phenomenal grappler. You know what I mean? Like, no, he's not. The guy is probably one of the most overrated fighters in the UFC that's talked about as much as he is, and is held in such a high regard as he is. And it's all because his fans think he's like this fucking comedian. And like, yeah, the guy's pretty funny. I'll give him that. He is actually pretty funny. But like, it's like I've always said this thing. It's like these guys have their shticks, right? The UFC fighters have their shticks. But like these shticks only work if you're winning. You know what I mean? Like you can't have this stupid shtick and then be, one, rarely fighting, and then two, when you are fighting, you're going 1-2 in your last three. It's like you can't just sit back and make jokes on Instagram the whole time if you're not even winning fights, let alone you're not even fighting like as actively as a top ranked guy should be. You know what I mean? Like this stuff is just is really ridiculous, the way these people hold Paulo Costa in such a high regard. Like, let's just get right into it. You know what I mean? Like Paulo Costa, people are saying like, oh, he's one of the best fighters in the middleweight division. Like, no, he's not. He's 1-2 in his last three. He's only fought twice in the past 3 years. Because if you remember, he fought Israel Adesanya for the title in September of 2020. It's today is 3 years since that fight, and he's fought twice. Once against Vettori, where he got washed, like completely washed, and UDs across the board, and then again against Luke Rockhold, who was literally like the ghost of Luke Rockhold, coming off the absolute couch, couch to fight him. Like, he literally had not fought in 3+ years. After two back-to-back KO losses, he comes back and fights Paulo Costa, and then somehow Paulo Costa makes that somewhat of a competitive fight. I don't know how he managed to make that remotely competitive, but Rockhold took him down, if you remember that, caught him with some shots. It's like, what are you doing, Costa? You're supposed to go out there and finish this guy. You're supposed to be a top-ranked contender who's going to be fighting for the title again soon, and they give you a layup in the ghost of Luke Rockhold, coming down from light heavyweight, who's coming off two brutal KO losses 3 years ago, and you don't even finish the guy. Not even that you don't even finish him. You make it like you go the distance with him and let him have moments against you. It's literally ridiculous. And then before that, his best win was Romero. Now, I don't have much to say about that one. That was a good win. But, like, come on, guys. Like, that win was in August of 2019, over 4 years ago. And, like, Yoel Romero was always kind of an older guy. And I'm not even trying to take anything away from that win. That was a good win. The only thing I have to say about that win is it was 4 years ago, dog. 4 years ago. Like you can't hold guys to, like, this win they had 4 years ago. Like, that's just not how it works. Fighters get worse over time, and especially if they're not actively fighting and getting better, which Paulo has not been doing. And then before that, he TKO'd an unjuiced, washed, blown up welterweight in Johnny Hendricks. It didn't even KO him. TKO'd him. And before that, TKO'd the king of unfulfilled potential himself, Uriah Hall. So these are two wins that are like, come on, if you really think that these are good wins, you need to reevaluate your definition of a good win. Because TKOing these guys in like the second and the third round is not that impressive, God. Like, come on. And then people always like to talk about Paulo Costa's power. Like, oh, this guy's got KO power in both hands and both feet and both knees. Like, no, he literally doesn't. Like, when is the last time that Paulo Costa KO'd someone stiff? I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. Because it's never happened. It's literally never happened in the UFC. He's never KO'd a single person in the UFC. He's only got these TKOs over, like, not the best competition. You know what I mean? And then we talk about Khamzat, right? A guy who stiff KO'd GM3 in one punch in 10 seconds. In middleweight, too. At middleweight, he stiff KO'd GM3 with one punch. Stiff KO'd him. Not TKO, swinging on him, and he gets up, and the referee pulls him off, and the guy's like, what? I'm talking about GM3 was straight stiff KO'd, laying up against the cage, and off of one punch. So Khamzat actually has one-shot KO power at middleweight. If anybody has this one-shot mythical power, fight-changing power, it's Khamzat, not Costa. And then also, let's go back to the Vettori fight. Vettori got the body lock back take on Costa, which is Khamzat's literal bread and butter. He goes for that on everybody, and if he gets it on you, you're in trouble. Got it on Holland, got it on Li Jingliang, like these are the guys that he's finishing in no time. Like once he gets a hold of you like that, body lock and then the back take body lock, it's extremely hard to get him off you. And the next thing I want to talk about is Costa. Guy has this aura around him that he's like some pro bodybuilder level strong, like power lifter level strong, like guy like benches 500 for reps. He's jacked and he's probably pretty strong, but like Khamzat has a bigger frame than him and is very functionally strong. Like that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand when they see a guy with a physique like Costa or Romero or even like a Jailton Almeida, who is a bad example because he is very functionally strong. But just because you're big and jacked it doesn't always transition to being functionally strong, like having a good grip strength and having things like that help you when you're wrestling, like grip strength, like squeezing on chokes. Like a guy like Islam Makhachev, to be fair, he is pretty jacked, but like there are guys more jacked than him that are not as functionally strong as him, and the reason why is because these guys have been wrestling for so long, and by doing these drills and sparring and even wrestling tournaments where you're wrestling guys full force for hours in the gym, and then tournaments, you're building these muscles that you don't build by doing bicep curls and bench presses. You build them by using them, and you get functionally more strong by training in wrestling for 15 years straight in a legitimate wrestling gym, whether you're busting your ass day in and day out. Let's also talk about this. Costa was taken down by the Ghost of Rockhold, which is not a good look. Taken down by Marvin Vettori, not a good wrestler, not a great wrestler. And then he was taken down multiple times by Oluwale Ben Gabos. Now, if you have never heard that name, I don't blame you, but he's basically like a 6-4 bum who got kicked out of the UFC and then went on a rant calling Dana White Hitler. Like he's a complete random fighter who literally went 1-4 in the UFC, and all of his losses were knockouts except one. And he Costa TKO'd him, to be fair, but this rando is taking down Costa almost at will, and it's like, what the hell, go? Like, what the hell? This guy does not have amazing takedown defense whatsoever. I think Khamzat's going to run through him, and he's going to make it look pretty easy. Now, the next fight I'm going to be going over is Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington, which takes place in December. I think that Leon's going to beat Colby. He's going to make it look pretty easy. I think Colby Covington is one of the most overrated fighters in the UFC. His only somewhat credible win is against Grandpa RDA, who's a former lightweight, and even managed to take Colby down. He also got taken down by Gunshy Woodley too. People forget about that. Like, his wrestling is not that good. He relies on chain wrestling. Like his actual wrestling ability is not amazing. He just relies on chain takedowns with his cardio and just missing one, going for the next. And yeah, it works, but his actual ability to wrestle is not as good as people make it seem. It's more of his cardio. But I think that Leon has the takedown defense, especially up against the cage with that wrist control and the head positioning that Leon has. I think it'll be very hard for Colby Covington to take him down. And I think that he's going to really struggle with the outside striking of Leon Edwards. Like, I don't think that Colby Covington has ever fought anybody that has the ability to strike from a distance and pick you apart from the outside like Leon Edwards does. And also, he ducks everyone. Colby ducks every contender under the sun. He has pillow fists, and his claim to fame is getting his jaw snapped in half by Usman, getting KO'd, and then running out of the arena crying, and then rematching him in 268 in MSG, and getting fucking dog walked again. These Colby fans are so delusional. Like, they're like, oh, these 2 losses to Usman are more than guys on 9-fight win streaks. It's like, how is Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards, 2 guys on absolute fucking tears, how are these guys held in a lower regard than Colby? Because Colby lost to Usman twice, but made him competitive. They were entertaining, but if you watch those fights with an unbiased viewpoint, it's like Usman is winning the fight. He's winning, even though Colby's doing good. Usman's winning, and he won both of the fights. In one of them, he broke his jaw and knocked him out. That one was more competitive in the start, but Usman ran away with it. He did, and Colby fans act like he didn't. And Leon has some of the best striking in the division. He has amazing takedown defense, and he has a very underrated grappling game. His offensive grappling game is underrated. He fought RDA, didn't get taken down, unlike Colby, who fought RDA and got taken down. This is Grandpa RDA for both guys, but at least Leon didn't get taken down by him. And Leon isn't this wrestler-based guy, and he still didn't get taken down by RDA. And Leon isn't this wrestler-based guy, and he was able to take down Usman, get him in full mount, and control him. Something that Colby couldn't do with 50 minutes of fight time against Usman. Like, Colby and Usman spent 10 rounds in there with each other, and Colby got one half-ass takedown on Usman that didn't even count. Leon Edwards got a proper trip on Usman and mounted him. Colby couldn't do that. So, whose grappling is really better? Like, for real. Like, I know that Usman was able to take down Leon much more times than he was able to take down Colby. But, like, I mean, the first fight, yeah, he was winning, but he got KO'd stiff. The second fight, he didn't win based on control. Like, he was able to take Leon down, but Leon was able to get back up. And besides the 5th round, he only really had around a minute or less of control time. The only thing is, Colby has that, like, weaponized pace that really is hard to deal with as a fighter. But Leon has a good gas tank, too. He has 5-round proven cardio, and he has finishing ability late in the fight. We saw that with Usman. He KO'd him stiff in, like, the closing round. And the last thing I want to say is, Leon Edwards does not rely on finishing ability. He is a excellent point fighter, and Colby Covington also does not rely on finishing ability because he has none. At least Leon has some. Colby has none. Who has Colby KO'd stiff? Fucking no one. He never will KO anybody stiff. And Colby always gets dropped. Got dropped by Usman, like, in both fights. He got dropped all over the place, and he got dropped by Jorge. Like, I feel like Leon's going to get the chance to knock him down. He's going to probably steal at least one round with a knockdown. Probably the 3rd or the 4th. He'll catch Colby and knock him down. I don't know. I don't think he'll finish him, but I think it'll be a decent knockdown. I think he'll steal the round. And Leon's a great point fighter, probably a better point fighter than Colby. He doesn't rely on finishing ability. He doesn't need to finish Colby to win the fight, but he can. So I think he has more ways to win than Colby, and I think he's going to expose Colby for being overrated and just a duck. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to drop another one this weekend, and then after this week, there's more UFC cards, so I'll be able to upload my normal breakdowns, predictions, and reactions to the UFC card. But I might do a breakdown on the Canelo versus Charlo fight. So yeah, if you guys would be interested in that, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.